Hello, this is episode 1 of our podcast. I am Ginger Watson, and this is...
Bajan Kaur.
Okay, now, let's get into it. Okay, so how old are you?
I am 18 years old.
Okay, and what kind of person are you? Like, what are your character traits?
I would say my character traits are, I'm pretty sarcastic. I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess I'm sort of nice. I'm caring, and yeah, that's about all I got.
What are your strengths and weaknesses?
I would say my strengths are, well, one of them, and I think this goes well for the long run, is I'm really hardworking. I'm willing to work for what I want, and my weaknesses are a lot of weaknesses. But I'd say one of them is that I guess I trust too easily, I guess, and I'm a paranoid person too, so that never works well.
Yeah, so being hardworking, it gets you a lot through life, you know?
Yeah.
You accomplish a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then, are your parents college educated?
My mom is not. She dropped out in sophomore year, I believe, and my dad did complete, he did get his associates, but he does not work in that area that he got it from.
Okay. And which colleges are you going to? Like, what do you plan on going to?
I'm not sure. I'm still waiting for the UCs to come out, and I'm kind of very, I don't know what I want to do yet, so I'm kind of, waiting for the financial options, because I'm more, whichever college is willing to give me more help, I would go there.
All right. And then, what was it like doing applications for college?
Yeah, a lot of people say that senior year is the easiest year, but I'd want to call BS on that, just because college apps are really stressful, especially since if you're someone like me, I don't know anything about myself, so when I have to write about myself, it's kind of it takes me a long amount of time to be able to come up with any information about myself, because I'm that type of person. So it was definitely stressful, and I don't really know how I did it, but I guess I did.
I think it's generally difficult for everyone because you have to apply yourself, your personality. It's easy,
Mm-hmm.
they give you a question for math, and you're like, oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
But it's like a question about yourself, and you're like, huh?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is a lot of people don't like talking about themselves because they don't want to perceive themselves as self-conceited, and so that's the biggest fear. I don't want to make it seem like I'm showing off, so I never know what to write. It's almost like I want to degrade myself, but then it's not good for college apps to be degrading yourself, and so you have to sort of be self-conceited in essence to be able to write.
Or humble.
Yeah.
All right. And have you applied for any scholarships?
I have applied for a lot of scholarships. So for starters, I applied to a lot of national ones, which kind of you already know you're not going to get in, but it feels nice to be able to apply. And so I applied for a lot, and then I kind of just stopped, and now I'm doing more local scholarships, and some of the scholarships offered by companies that my dad works for.
Oh, okay, that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And have you been accepted to any colleges, or are you still waiting?
I have been accepted to a couple. They're out-of-state ones that I've applied for, essentially, I guess, for fun.
Can you name them?
One of them is Northern Arizona University, and then I believe another one might be Denver University, and then there's a couple other ones that I don't really know much of, but I kind of randomly applied through Common App. Yeah.
All right. And then how are you what are you doing to prepare yourself for college?
I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I think my biggest thing is laying down on the procrastinating, because I feel like when I've heard from other college students is that you can't do that in college, so I feel like if I'm able to just work myself to where I don't procrastinate as much, it's kind of a win-win for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot to prepare for college because, you're about to leave home. Even if you're staying local, it's still kind of hard because they're so close. Your family's so close, but they're so far away.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of harder for people who are going out of state because they're going to a place that's completely unfamiliar. Yeah. It's like another state. It's like a different country.
Yeah, I want to go out of state, and the college that I want to go to is all the way in the East Coast, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work out, but I do feel like there's just so much going on that you really don't know what you're doing. And then I feel like the summer is where I'm mainly going to be focusing on, okay, so now I can I've graduated, I've done everything, I know where college I'm going to. Then I feel like I'd start to work myself to the idea of college, because as of now I'm just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I think that goes for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel there's not only one opportunity to do after high school,
Yeah.
people can go into the military as well. How do you feel about that?
I do think the military is a very good option. I just feel like a lot of students take that option like they don't know what they're getting into. That's what I've heard a lot, and that's kind of because like I'll be honest, like it's a very tempting idea knowing that you won't have any student loans and stuff, but there's a lot of responsibilities that come with it, and a lot of people don't think about those responsibilities. They just think about the idea of being able to graduate from college debt free, which is like, you know, kind of like heaven in it of itself. So it's kind of like, you know, I just feel like it's a really good thing, and there's a lot of perks to it, but I feel like the person should be well educated on what they're getting into.
Yeah, a lot of people may be confused in what they're doing. I think it depends on who they are and what they believe in and what their personality is like. Because if you take someone per se for like you, I don't think you would want to be in the military.
I wouldn't, because I am like, you know, growing up in an Indian family, I'm all about like being able to like get that freedom that I haven't gotten to this day. So to me, it's like going into the military is again like an oppression to my freedom, which, you know, I'm all for it. Serving my country, I'm all for it, but I feel like there's other ways for me to do it because I'm just not built for the military life.
Yeah, because the military, even though it has great benefits, it's very strict,
very hard
to get through. Like all the branches, all of them are difficult, and all of them have different, you know, different types of things they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends on who you are. One decision is not better than the other than after high school. It just depends on your personality, where you come from, your culture, and all that. Are you aware of the pros and cons of college?
I'm pretty sure I'm not aware of all, but I mean, I've gotten like a gist of an idea. Like the main idea is being able to get an education. But yeah, I think like, you know, from my perspective, I feel like I have enough to kind of motivate me to go to college.
All right, well, let me name some pros and cons for you. So, first of all, in the pros, you can get a better education, like you said, more job opportunities, you know, and all that. You get new experiences. You know, go outside your comfort zone. You know, that goes along with experiencing new things. And, you know, obviously college students make more money.
Yeah.
Because of the jobs they get, you know, with the bachelor's degree or master's. And you're most likely to have health insurance and retirement plans because of your job and the path you go down. And the lower poverty rates.
Yeah.
More education, more jobs, and less poverty. And they're more productive as members of society because, you know, there's people becoming doctors, teachers, lawyers, and, you know, they're helping our society and helping us, you know, contribute.
Yeah.
Now, here are some cons. You know, there's debt and student loans. And there's a lot of stress that goes into college. Like, people would be up at 3 a.m. reading or writing. Like, a lot of people do not sleep. Student loans may delay major achievements like marriage or owning a house because of the money. And then many college graduates work in jobs that don't require college degrees. Like, many people like end up working in waitressing or waitering. And then college degrees do not guarantee learning or job preparation. So, like, for example, becoming a teacher. And then college degree, student debt could cause more financial struggles. We already went over that. And college tuition has risen faster than income, which causes college to become unaffordable. But that's why there's scholarships, and that's why there's, you know, FAFSA, and there's a lot of you know, things out there willing to help you pay for college, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of hit and misses with financial aid. For example, like, I know it's a struggle for students who move out or more sort of kicked out of their parents' place because they need their parents' information for FAFSA. So there's a lot of things that you have to do and a lot of things that, like, you know, like, there's just situations that are created where, you know, financial aid becomes kind of difficult to achieve. But there's, like, I think that's one of my biggest fears is the fact that, like, you know, that I'm going to do all this and then not be able to get a good enough job, or like student loans are going to be so unreasonable that I can't pay them off. But I feel like college is a risk, but I feel like it's worth it.
Yeah, it is a very great risk. I think anything after high school is a big risk.
Yeah. I think it's just the idea that you're being an adult, and this is like the first thing is having to like, you know, just be able to get an education. You need an immense amount of money. Like, it just starts to like, it's kind of becomes stressful, but then I feel like you just need to be able to get over, if you, once you're over that period of time, I'm sure you can work yourself to like try to create a plan to how to pay it off.
Yeah, becoming an adult is either you sink or you swim.
Yeah.
And then, you know, college stress can cause health problems, you know,
Yeah.
like major anxiety and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
definitely, yeah.
Like mostly mental health, but it can go to the point where it can go to physical health as well. And then college may be indoctrinating students instead of educating them. Like, they may be teaching them what to think more than teaching them how to think.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cons and pros kind of ish. It's almost so like, what's your motivation? See, like for me, it's, you know, like me and my brother were from, like, our parents don't have education. They work jobs that don't require any degrees and stuff. It's like, so from since we were younger, we've been seeing them struggle. It's hard for them to hold a like house. It was just hard for my dad to even purchase a house in the first place. And it's like now, like, you know, we're like stable enough to where we get what we want, like not so what we want, but what we need. And so it's kind of just like, you know, we've seen our parents work, you know, really hard. So for us, it's like we have to take this risk because it's not even just about us. It's about taking care of them when they get older too.
Yeah, I think you know, after seeing, you know, what your family is like, that goes a lot into people going into college. Is, you know, I want to become better than my parents. Becoming better than your parents does pay off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who start off the bottom and then just rose because they want to become better than their parents. They and I think it's just and just going to college, it's, you know, it's a great new experience. And living in places such as California, there's a lot of, you know, programs that could help with people who don't have money or family or have mental health issues, physical health issues. And that's like one of the great things at California universities.
Yeah, I think the idea is that if you have enough motivation, you're able to get through it. Because it's like, for me, it's not essentially becoming better than my parents. It's giving them what they always wanted but they couldn't have because of money. Because I mean we've seen my mom and dad give things up. Like, you know, if they could, like, they would try to give it to us first, and then they would, like, and I don't, like, they would just not have it. Like, it just, like, they just had like a smile and they took everything. Like, they're optimistic people, but they, you know, suffered so much. And it's, as a little kid, you don't realize that, but as you start getting older, you start to see it. And so it's like, now, you know, our prime motivations are, we'll go through all the struggle that's needed if we can, you know, be able to, like, you know, just, you know, for once, just let them live, because they did come from another country. So essentially the idea here is that, yeah, it's hard to adjust to college, but I feel like our prime motivation is the fact that if our parents can come from another country to this country and start from scratch, not knowing anything, I feel like we're at a really big advantage to what they were at. And if they can do it, it's kind of like, for us, it's like, okay, we should be able to do it because they did it.
Do you think your personal point of view would help others be sure of what they're doing in the future?
Honestly, I'm not too sure, because I feel like even if you're not too sure about what you want to do, I know it's like a lot of people say that that's not a good thing, and I just think it's like, I would rather wait but be certain of my decision when I make it, rather than, you know, kind of like, oh, I'm a senior, I don't know what to do. Like, I see a lot of people who just kind of like, you know, last minute, like, okay, I think I want this, and then they end up taking the leap of faith, and it's like, yeah, that's good, but I feel like for me, it's like, I've, you know, been like, I've had like some ideas of what I want to do, and I feel like experiences and perspective, like, just like, you know, exposing myself to like all these different scenarios, I've been able to make a decision of what I want to do. And I feel like if someone can just like say it's okay to take time, it kind of takes the pressure off of kids to try to figure out what they want to do.
I think of your, you know, unsureness and like you know, about going to college, I think it gives comfort to other people, because like, oh, thank goodness, like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think a lot of people may carry the persona like they know what they're doing, but in reality, everyone's kind of uncertain, because there's so many people that are so confident in what they want, and then like 2 years in college, they've changed their major. It's like, it's so okay. Like, I was talking to my brother the other day, and he changed his major, and he's third year into Davis, and so it's kind of like, he's like, it's not that big of a change that he needs to change his classes, but it's like the pre-med courses that he took are still the same. So it's like, you know, you can always just change it, and the consequences aren't as big as you would think. But obviously, if you're going to change like from a different, like, the area, then it might be a little problematic. But I would rather change it then, instead of like, imagine working 10 years into the job and you're just like, I don't want this.
All right. And now that concludes our interview/podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.